Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cineverse.com. This week's review is going to be on Christopher Nolan's science fiction epic, Interstellar. Check it out.
You might have to decide between seeing your children again and the future of the human race.
We'll find a way. We always have.
As you can see, Interstellar is a very visual movie. In fact, that's probably one of the most important aspects of it.
I mean, going into a Christopher Nolan movie, the one thing you definitely expect is to be wowed visually.
Absolutely.
And this movie doesn't disappoint in that element. You go in expecting a very grandiose space adventure, and that's what they give you. I mean, everything from their exteriors of the ships, to the interiors of the ships, and all of their electric comms panels, to their robots and their spacesuits.
To the worlds they travel to,
Yeah,
to the exterior sets of the places that they visit.
The big thing with Christopher Nolan is you can definitely tell that this movie was an homage to Kubrick.
Oh, definitely.
Very much so.
Definitely. And really sci-fi from that era, because it felt like Kubrick's. It's definitely, 2001 is obviously what we're referring to there. But it also, I mean, you definitely get vibes of classic Ridley Scott, for instance. Like you can see the kind of a bit of Alien, a little bit of Blade Runner. Now the actors, they performed it all admirably, and we believe everything they say.
Sure. Well, and I mean, and that's the thing you also come to expect with a Nolan movie is an A-list cast.
Definitely.
I mean, that's something that, I mean, we've seen time and time again from movies like Memento to Insomnia to The Dark Knight to The Prestige, you know. And every time he has a cast, an ensemble cast that's just incredible, and this movie holds up in that standard.
Definitely, and it almost really becomes a distraction at a certain point, because we've got a solid center cast. We got Matthew McConaughey,
Right.
We've got Anne Hathaway, we've got Jessica Chastain. These are our main characters. So then we have all these other supporting roles that would generally go to smaller supporting artists that are now being given to these big A-list stars. I mean, small roles, we've got John Lithgow, we've got Michael Caine, we've got
Casey
Wes
Affleck.
Bentley, we've got Casey Affleck, we've got Topher Grace, and then in the middle of the movie, we've got Matt Damon.
Weird, right?
And there's a lot of different elements in this movie, especially when it comes to the script. I felt like there were so many, like, random one line that were just so on the nose that it almost felt like the only reason those lines were put in there were to get us to the next plot point.
You're the best pilot we ever had. Get out there and save the world.
So this is one of those movies that, again, it works around this big element that they set up in the very beginning and comes back full circle to give us this kind of Deus Ex Machina of an ending.
Yeah, and there's a bit of... It feels like the kind of ending you would expect in a Spielberg film. Like, he can wrap up a sentimental ending to a larger plot, or at least he definitely tries to, and he's usually pretty successful. Nolan, on the other hand, doesn't really have much practice in this effect. I don't want to say his endings are generally bleak, but he sometimes reaches for ambiguity or reality.
Right.
And so, taking a movie that is so based in science and theory, and then giving it this sort of love conquers all ending, it necessarily wasn't a bad ending. I mean, I'd be interested to hear what you guys have to say, but it definitely felt slightly jarring.
Definitely. Yeah, that would be a good word for it. And, I mean, each act is so different from one another. I mean, the first act, you're 40 minutes on Earth. Once you're in space in the second act, it's just a whole nother movie. And then, boom, you hit the third act, and it's something completely different.
This world's a treasure, but it's been telling us to leave for a while now.
Your daughter's generation will be the last to survive on Earth.
All right, guys. So Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. What's it worth? I think we're definitely gonna say it's a full price viewing. It's definitely one you need to see in the theater.
Absolutely, and there's a wide variety of formats you can actually go see it in theaters. They have 70mm, 35mm, 70mm IMAX, digital prints, and 4K digital prints.
Not to mention just your regular digital showing at any theater.
Right.
But if you're gonna go see it, I say look for one of these special screenings. The 70mm is what we saw it in, and really just the sound and the visual is much more powerful, and that's the kind of movie. This is definitely the kind of movie that you want to see in that respect.
Definitely. It's an immersive experience, and seeing it in theater, if you're one of those people that waits for home videos or video on demand or whatever, I wouldn't do it, because this movie, I have a feeling, is not going to play anywhere close to the same as seeing it on a big screen as
Definitely.
compared to seeing it in a home theater.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for us. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to send us an email or comment on the link below. And until next time, see you at the theater.